Hey guys, how's it going? And thanks for coming. I'm Nick and this is Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money because schools aren't. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. So let's get started. So in this video, guys, we're going over 11 things I wish I would have done differently when I was 22. So as human beings, for whatever reason, we find joy in laughing at other people's mistakes or failures. So it should be a fun video for you guys. Not me, but that's okay because we could all learn from this. So I'll leave timestamps in the description so you could skip around if you want. Hopefully you could learn this. Maybe if you're 22 or younger or older, we all make mistakes. We could all learn from that. So we're just going to be banging them out. So let's get right into it, guys. The first thing that I wish I would have done differently at 22, 22 is like that kind of starting college, middle of college type of thing. No one really knows what's going on that time in their lives. But I wish I got a better job during that time, or even an internship. Now, if you guys know anything about my past and my job history, I started like toward end of high school. I started at 15. Technically, it was slow, so I got put on the schedule when I was 16. But I worked for McDonald's for 4.5 years. Now that's a long time. So I did that, end of high school, throughout college. And I said way too many times,
"Can I help the next customer?"
And of course, the big one,
"Would you like fries with that?"
So that was my life for quite some time. I started out knowing like absolutely nothing. I knew they had something called a Big Mac. They had Happy Meals and nuggets. If you guys are questioning if the meat is real or what's inside the nuggets, I can't tell you that. No, I'm kidding. I mean, if you want to find out, you could leave the video a thumbs up. Maybe I'll do a separate video. Is that weird? I don't know. I guess it kind of relates to life. I couldn't mention that. But let me know what you guys want to know. So I started at the bottom, knowing absolutely nothing, make a minimum wage starting at $7.30 an hour. And, going from nothing to making that was like $1 million. I'm like, every hour? Yeah, please. So I went from that to like crew trainer, and then up to like one of the main managers at my store. Now I regretted this because I could have done more with something else. I went to college for business management and specialized in finance. As you know, I love talking about money, investing, and all that kind of stuff. So like I could have done like an internship while going to college, maybe some type of other part-time, because I went to school full-time and worked part-time, maybe around like 30 hours or so. So it wasn't like huge, tremendous money, but I did make money. I could have, it was enough to like pay for cars, like college expenses and all that type of stuff. So I saved a good amount. So if I was able to like get my toes wet with like in the business industry, well, everything's technically a business, but in the finance industry, get an internship and start gaining experience, because once you graduate, that's what mostly all jobs look for, is experience. Like you might have the degree, fantastic, but if you don't have any experience, good luck getting that entry-level job. So after that, while being a manager, they maxed out at like $12 an hour. I'm assuming and hoping that it's more than that at this point, but I made a little bit more than that, maybe $12.50 an hour. Obviously, I was good at my job because of that, but obviously it wasn't too much. So then after graduating, I did get into banking, kind of more like in finance focused, just to get the fundamentals out of the way. So then I started gaining experience, and I could have done that sooner. Even writing resumes and cover letters, I wish I learned that much sooner than I have. Writing resumes suck. They do. They're boring. You got to focus so much time and effort into like each individual word, but it is so important in you getting these jobs. I do have previous videos telling you how to do that if you're interested. Link in the description. Now, the second thing I wish I would have done differently was actually socialize more. Now, if you know me in real life, separately from this, I'm actually a quiet person. And I'm not yelling all the time, moving my hands all over the place. I'm Italian. Sorry, that's what I do. But, you know, in school I was always that like quiet kid in the back, didn't talk much, and just focused on my work. I'm not saying that's like a bad thing. However, it is good to socialize and to meet more people. I mean, maybe like the bad ones you could deal without, but there are good people out there and you can learn from them. You learn how to communicate, and you just need people skills. I mean, look at me, I'm talking to a camera. But, like I said with McDonald's, it was purely those two things. School, work, like nothing else. Nothing. I saved a good amount, that's why I don't really regret that. But, you know, you do need to socialize. You need to open your mind to other people. Heck, you actually might even learn from people. Imagine that. Not everyone is terrible. Don't watch the news because not everyone's like that. Most people might be. But, you know, when you start learning their interests, and if you connect that way, you might be even able to grow together. Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat is not socializing. It is different. You need that face-to-face contact. You need to look at a person in the eyes directly, not through a screen, and actually talk to them. The third thing I wish I did differently was invest more. Now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in another number. I don't know what number it is. We're getting to it. But like I did start investing technically in like individual stocks when I was 20 years old. It definitely wasn't heavy. I had like a few grand in one stock, and I was like playing around with a couple other ones that weren't the best companies. So if I really focused on like better companies and more like just better investments, I could have had much more money than I do now. You know, this was the time of my life where I started learning like how your money can make money for you. And, you know, I never thought I could be a millionaire. Like, no way in any dimension or world that's possible. That's simply just a ridiculous fact or like an idea. Then I realized it's not if I become a millionaire, it's when. Because it's definitely possible. When you start learning about investing, compound interest, and just everything, especially for the long term, you can create something incredible. I never did penny stocks, thank God, but there were just like some companies, like those iffy companies, like, oh, I wonder if they're gonna, it's like make or break moments. I personally don't care for them. I just go for like the good companies. You could even go for mutual funds or whatever you're really into. Of course, do your own research. But go with good investments, solid ones, so for the long term, you're going to benefit from it. Number 4 thing I wish I'd done differently was actually make more mistakes and do different things. Just try more things. Like what I was doing, like if I knew like I was going to achieve something, then I would go for that one and not necessarily like the more challenging objective. And now I try to push the envelope a little more because you never do know. You gotta go for some things. And like obviously most of us have no idea what we want to do in life. So instead of like trying to pick out what we want, was what I was trying to do, now I would kind of suggest like try everything and then just start crossing stuff off. I think that's easier. Process of elimination. So you find out what you don't want to do and you kind of narrow it down to what you're interested in later on. I think the more mistakes we make, we do learn from them. Might not seem like that in the moment. You'll feel like an idiot. But later on, you would actually not regret making that mistake. Speaking of not making mistakes, number 5 thing that I really deeply wish I did differently was actually make my YouTube channel at that time when I was 22 and not like a couple years ago. Now yeah, I'm not the fastest growing YouTuber out there, but I do enjoy what I do. I like helping people as much as I can. Might jump around every so often, but the sooner you start something, the sooner you're able to learn from it and grow. One main factor with YouTube is having that patience, that time and effort. I had no idea how much effort it took to actually have a YouTube channel. You might think that you just record yourself talking and that's it, but there's a lot more to it. You got to continuously do that. You have to like create these topics. You got to edit them. You got to publish them. You got to, write the description, the tags, and all this stuff. So the sooner I would have learned that, I would be in a different position now. However, I am glad that I did start it because I definitely didn't want to regret it. That was one of the main reasons why I started. I didn't want to look back and question what would have happened. Speaking of YouTube, not only like making my own channel, but number 6 is actually kind of weird one, but I wish I actually started watching more YouTube videos earlier on. Really strange, but it's actually incredible when you think about it. Obviously, we learn more on YouTube than in school, and that's one of the main reasons why I started. We don't learn about money. That's why I wanted to start this. But like if you want to do something, like if you want to learn how to cook, you could literally look up a video of a chef. Like he's an expert, has experience, and he's a professional. You could learn from him. Or about money, someone who has experience, or even a millionaire, you can learn from them. Or, I don't know, if you want to like build a house or something like that, anything like do your own thing, you can learn that. And I wish I started that earlier because there's so much content out there, you'll never get to it all. But when you really focus on your interests, I wish I did that with mine. I could definitely have learned more sooner. What I started with was actually Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey. Those are two like financial advisor type of people. That's where it all started, I think. And then of course the big YouTubers out there now, like Jeremy from Financial Education, Ryan Scribner, Graham Stephan, he's awesome, starting to get into Meet Kevin, that's more real estate. But there's so many out there, and there's a bunch of smaller ones out there too, including myself. And we could just all learn from them. You could even get involved in the community and learn from other people. And I just really think it's a great thing. Much better than TV. Like even right now, most normal people like listen to music while they work. I actually listen to YouTube videos and learn from it. I'm weird that way, but I do love just getting better every single day. Continuing on to number 7, which is setting up a retirement account. Now, when I was 22, like I mentioned before, I did start like investing in stocks, but I didn't set up a retirement account. I mean, I had like 401k. Surprisingly, they had that at McDonald's. I don't know what it was, maybe like 5 or 6% match or something like that. But I had to wait till I was 21, 22 or whatever. But I wish I would have set up a Roth IRA back then. I have it now, and they did increase the contributions for 2019, by the way. It's actually $6,000 maximum, so every single month is $500, and that's what I'm doing right now, and I wish I did that back then. Obviously, it's a great way to plan for your future, for your whatever, your family, or whatever you expect to happen. You want that cushion, you want options, and just flexibility in your life. I see people struggling with money, and I simply don't want to be like that. It's terrifying. Those people aren't bad people, they just are bad with money, and I don't want to be like that. So you have, especially if you're starting at 22, you have the super long term to grow your money like crazy, compound interest, and you could easily become a multi-millionaire. But you know what I did instead, unfortunately? Number 8, which is actually instead of investing my money for the future, I ended up saving it in a CD. Now, a couple of my previous videos, I mentioned that I do not care for CDs, and this is one of the reasons why. So back then, this is when savings accounts or money market accounts were paying like 0.1 or like if you were lucky 0.25% interest. So this is when like I wasn't too heavy in investing, and I looked over at CDs, which are giving more than savings accounts. And I forgot, no, I do remember, unfortunately. It was a 39-month CD, and I got like, I want to say like 2.39%. Now, obviously that was more than 0.1, so that's why it was attractive to me. So I guess it was, I would have rather done that than something stupid with it. But I look back, I'm like, that was just horrible. Not horrible, but it was bad. If I like invested that money, it just would have grew to so much bigger amounts by now. I do not care for CDs. I would not get a CD until like, of course, it depends on your risk tolerance or whatever. But I would only recommend it like if you're going to retire in like 5 years, then you start investing in CDs because they're like super safe. You're not going to lose money with it. But the problem is that your money is locked up for however long, 1 year, 2 year, 39 months. So that was a mistake. And you know damn well, once that matured, I put most of that into the stock market. But I hated having that money locked up, and I would never do that again. Number 9 thing that I wish I'd done differently when I was 22 is actually stay in contact with my college professors. Now, I went to community college for the first year and a half. I was able to transfer some credits over from high school. I'll be completely honest, I don't remember a damn name in community college. I'm not bashing community colleges. I would actually recommend doing that because it's cheaper, get your requirements out of the way. It's just better in my opinion. But I do not remember any professors' names from that. Even when I was going there, I didn't remember my teachers' names. However, when I went into like college after that, when I transferred, there were some good professors there, and I wish I just picked their brain more. Obviously they're in the field. They have the experience. So, I could have gained knowledge from like, oh, what internship could I go for? Or what kind of entry-level job could you start with and grow from that? Either go to their office hours or a simple email to them just to say, hi, I'm your student. They might even, my classes were kind of like on the smaller side. It's not a huge lecture hall. But even to see like their history, like how they got to where they are. So, with you, there might not be a bunch of good professors out there, but they're out there. And I think we should use them to our advantages. We're paying all this money for something. So you got to squeeze everything possible out of it. Now, the number 10 different thing that I wish I would have done was actually have a better life balance. So like I mentioned before, I was McDonald's and school, that's it. Nothing else. So it was like basically 100% work all the time. Now, I don't necessarily regret that because, my grades were good. Did that determine my success in life? Absolutely not. But, I was able to save a good amount of money, so that's great and all. But you just don't enjoy life that way. You need that balance. Either way, you should not be like 100% work, but on the other side, you should not also be 100% fun. You need that balance. Everyone is different. For me, I'm still trying to find the balance. But for right now, I'm like 75% work and 25% fun. Even like this is my 25% fun is YouTube videos. But, everyone's different and you have to enjoy your life. You just can't work every single second. Maybe every other second, but we do have to go for things that we want. Go for money. Money is important, but at the same time, it's not everything, and we have to enjoy it. And I wanted to save this one for last because I think these all could be life-changing. But number 11, what I wish I knew as 22 and so much younger, is to not care about what other people think. Now, I was that kid in school who was terrified. I was shy and quiet in the back, didn't talk. I wanted to fly under the radar, didn't want any attention to me. Like, I didn't want to sneeze because that would bring attention to me. It's bad. I'm better now, thank God. But just that, because I just worried what others thought. And if you're trying to please other people, you're fighting a losing battle. Even when I started to try to start YouTube, I started thinking like, well, what are other people going to think of me? What are the viewers going to think of me? What are my friends and family going to think? And when I thought about this, like letting other people dictate my actions, I didn't like that at all. So I changed. I became more confident in myself. I didn't care what other people think. You could dislike this video. I mean, I would rather have a thumbs up. But, like, it's not gonna, it's still gonna bother me, but it's not gonna, like, destroy me, and you shouldn't worry about things like that. If you're putting in your all for what you believe, that's really all that matters. And especially comparing yourself to someone else, that is ridiculously dangerous. And we all do that. It's a human behavior. You compare yourself to someone else, like maybe a friend from high school is like, hey, what are they doing? And they might be doing better than you, and you're like, oh, crap. But what you have to do is look back and see where you're coming from. Look at every single step you took to get to where you are right now, and realize that you could continue to take those steps forward into your future, and you could actually create something incredible. So those are some things, 11 things that I wish I would have done differently at 22, guys. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Do you have any regrets when you were 22? If you're 22 now, or if you're younger, take advice of older people. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And I'll see ya in the next one.